this January. Thank you so much.
Thank GLOVER, everybody.
Sitting down?
Yeah, we're gonna have a quick sit down here and all right, you guys get value out of that? Was that good? Who are my doers, right? We're ready to go? So, yeah, Jeff, you do a lot of events yourself. This is kind of our first big event. The step up from a lot of memory lane, right? We did our Grand Prix events, which have been much smaller, first time at the big venue, and I think we did all right. What do you guys think? How did we do? We did all this stuff?
You're going to look back. I remember our very first event, we had maybe 250 people there, and probably 200 of them were agents from my brokerages. So it looks good, but it wasn't really like 50 people bought a ticket. You're going to look back one day and say, man, 1,000 people, or whatever this number is. Like, I remember when we had 1,000 people, and now we're at 15,000 people showing up. So it's going to be cool to watch you guys grow.
Yeah, I love it. And so, you guys have the workbooks, you have your notes. I love that you've got your action plan now. One of the things I want to kind of talk through with you, Jeff, is, the kind of foundation we started on back on Thursday was this idea of the story stack and the identity stack. The what are you known for? We had Alex Brandow come up. He's got the bow tie right up here in the front. We've challenged all of our agents to figure out what is that thing you want to be known for. I met a gentleman last night, had his dog with him. He's like, I'm going to start using her in more of my stuff. Like, I'm going to be known for this. And we also talk about the story stack, leading into that thing that maybe you don't normally share. And I had another amazing agent come up and share with me that she's telling her story of going through a terrible financial time and moving and building it all back again through real estate and adding that to her profile and adding that to let consumers know. And I respect the courage that took to lean in and do that. What are your thoughts on this? I mean, obviously you've been doing this game for a long time. I feel like maybe you're one of those people who just naturally leaned into those things. What are your thoughts on the story stack and the identity stack?
So I think about when I first started this business, I was on appointments early on, as many of you were. A common question from sellers is, why should I hire you? And I recognized quickly that I better give a dialed-in response to that comes out with confidence, that comes out like I know what I'm talking about. So when I first started, Robert, my response was, 18, 19, 20, 21 years old. Why should you hire me? Because I'm not married, I don't have kids, I'm the hardest working agent in town. There's nothing, that was my message at the time. There's nothing that's more important than getting your home sold for me right now in my life. And so I'm going to work probably 18, 20-hour days to make sure that happens. That was my message every single time. And then as time went on and I started being able to spend some money on advertising, I recognized that sellers, kind of their buzzwords were getting it done quickly and putting more money in their pocket. So I ran ad campaigns. However you got to do this, my message was, no one does it faster, no one gets you more. So you could drive on any major freeway in Detroit or listen to any radio station, and all of our messaging revolved on no one does it faster, meaning no one gets your home sold faster, and no one gets you more. In fact, the tagline for years when the market was average was, I average my sellers 98% of their asking price in an average of 23 days. And that was in every single ad, every single time, every single thing I put out. And now this is when the market was a little softer, so it was that was a hot message, right? Today, as of course now it's back to soft again, but as time went on, your message needed to change to maybe perhaps no one gets you more offers, or no one puts more money in your pocket through leverage, or whatever it is. But you have to find something and own that message and just stick with it.
Absolutely. We talk about this idea of we have to obviously be authentic, but we want to exaggerate that authenticity, right? And so you're authentically selling homes faster, but then you lean into it. You make it the headline. You make it sound as grandiose as you can. Again, we've got to exaggerate authentically, and then we talk about repeating relentlessly. Like you're saying, every single thing we do, we're gonna pick that trait, whatever it is, if it's something internal, if it's something external. Once we choose that, we're gonna exaggerate it authentically. We're not gonna go make stuff up, but we are gonna lean into and again expand as much as we can, and then repeat it so it becomes part of who we are.
It becomes part of the recall thing that you talk about.
Yeah, the recall equity. Yeah, absolutely.
That's what that's all about. So that was the messaging for years, and it's stuck, and it's still to this day. I mean, anywhere I go in Detroit, oh, that's the Jeff Sells guy. No one does it faster, right? People heckle me on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Where are you in the AI arc at this point?
So we're using AI for efficiency without question. Our operations team uses it at a very high level. I tend to stay out of the weeds with it, and I don't understand it on that level. But where I'm at right now is everything we're doing within our team is, and we're going to have this figured out by January's event. That's my commitment I made to the industry, and that is, okay, I appreciate it giving us time back and so forth. the number one thing I focus on is we need to generate leads at a high level. And so we are just starting to see success from generating leads through AI. And until we have it mastered, I'm not going to speak about it. I don't want to go on stage and talk about it until I have it mastered. Just because we get lucky every now and again because somebody found us on ChatGPT because of the words we did on this video or whatever. But the one thing I will say, and listen, you guys certainly, according to your playbook, I would argue that you have it figured out at a very high level. The one area that I think that people are not paying enough attention to, and forgive me if it was covered, I wasn't here that day, is you understand that the value of what you share in your videos will be part of the GEO, right? The generative engine optimization. What you share in your videos. Spoken word. Today, AI is still using a lot of written word. Now, the written word, as you know, is from third-party sources, right? Like Fast Expert or Yelp or reviews or whatever. But where I see it going, and you're already starting to see bits and pieces of this, is they're going to value spoken word, what is said in videos and on audio, more than written word. And so for anyone that's hesitating to jump on the video, putting content out there on the video side, you're going to get left behind, I believe, if in 18 months from now, all of a sudden, when you see the sources, it's pulling from actual video. They're already doing that to some degree. Not so much on the real estate side, but that's where I see it going.
Absolutely. Yeah, we covered a little bit about using AI to create that video content, write the scripts, give you the motivation, what to go talk about. I agree with you. I think this is one of those interesting things. We talked a lot about the foundation models, right? So you've got Google's Gemini and Anthropic's Claude and ChatGPT, or OpenAI, ChatGPT, and we don't know who the winner is going to be. I kind of posed this question of Google won when we started saying Google it. We don't say search, we say Google it. Who's going to win? Is it going to be Chat it? Is it going to be Gemini it, right? Like something's going to come. And if Google, who owns Gemini and owns YouTube, becomes the dominant winner, then YouTube becomes a massive source of truth.
I would bet on that.
Absolutely. The other kind of dark horse out there is Facebook. I don't even really consider them a foundational model today. Zuckerberg has now spent crazy amounts of money to build this super intelligence lab. They could be a come from behind story, and now all of a sudden your Facebook posts and your Instagram posts, which are not a great source today, become the authority if Facebook and Meta wins the AI war. And so we've got to stay nimble. So we tried to balance instructions in the workbook that can prepare you for where we are today, but also dropping those breadcrumbs of where it may go because we just don't know. And the next 12 to 24 months are going to be fascinating. That we're going to keep you up to speed. We're going to be talking about it Motivation Monday. We're going to be updating content for the certifications throughout, but we got to see who wins.
What I just heard, what you said, gives you reason to double down on video again, though, because even with social media, what is Facebook and Instagram?
Oh, absolutely.
Video content. So even if you record a video and you share it, you guys hopefully are doing this, you're repurposing it everywhere.
A chapter on that, absolutely. Using AI to repurpose.
Exactly. So if you're doing that, if Facebook and Instagram show up as a big player one day and the come from behind story, as you mentioned, then you're going to be just fine.
Absolutely. The final certification we did, Jeff, was our price point step up. And so really again, not go swinging for the fences, going to sell 30, 40 million dollars. Yeah, let's go just one step up at a time. That's something you actually implement in your career and your team. I know you're a big believer in that.
Yeah, listen, I've never been known as a luxury guy. I'm still not known as a luxury guy. I've always been, Detroit, blue collar. I kind of took the approach, I'm okay being the guy in Detroit that just focuses on the everyday, assembly line, family, whatever, like, manufacturing, kind of customer. And what I notice is as time goes on and you start becoming known for something, you earn the right to increase your average sales price. And so we created a separate brand called GLOVER Agency Reserve. We only let a few of our agents into that. We changed the look and color scheme of the business cards, and we have actually one of our offices is called the GLOVER Agency Reserve office. You can only work there if you're ever so we made conscious decisions to raise kind of the standard of our marketing and bring some agents along with it that have proven that they can handle sales at that price point. I've never done anything to increase our average sales price in the history of the company. And in the last 2 years, our average sales price has increased more than the market. So what I was saying earlier, and this is a good measuring stick to see how you're doing, if the average sales price in Detroit, for instance, is up about 5.5% year over year, which I know is surprising because most markets are down. Average sales price in Detroit is up 5.5%. Well, our average sales price is up 21.5%. So now I know I'm outperforming the market by that margin. That means what we're doing consciously to increase our average sales price is working. There's little things we did too, like we raised the floor in terms of minimum price points that we would work. You know, in our dialers, we said, you know, don't send us any opportunities unless they're minimum at this price. So we slowly raised things over the last couple of years, and it works. And by the way, guess what happens when your average sales price goes up? So do your commissions.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, any final words or wisdom or thoughts for our audience? We really appreciate your time, man.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, number one, I mean it when I say, you know, and I know you're probably like, well, Jeff, you know, you're on stage, you're supposed to say good things. I pay attention to every organization out there. And there's a reason why your organization is growing and most others are dying. So keep listening to what this guy says, number one. And number two, I know that over the last 2.5 days, it can be overwhelming, the things that were covered. All right? Go back to the circle, star, underline activity, and just take action on a few things. And never forget that your actions and your sales skills, above all, will beat out an agent who's the most tech-savvy, knowledgeable agent in your market who's doing nothing with it. Don't ever forget that.
Awesome. Thank you. Big round of applause for Jeff.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
All right.